because I did this when I first.
Wait, hello?
Yeah.
It was in like the stream.
Oh. Live.
If that's doing something. Stream.
There we go.
Way.
Okay.
Finally got there, boys.
Yeah, limited numbers, main drivers only in Japan. We can focus on the action. Best graphic design in the world. Yeah, there you go. There's a recap on everything.
I forgot that part on the recap, or the initial recap. They still couldn't hear, but yeah.
I didn't.
Of course not. No. Of course. I had my fun. I had my jokes with that, but no, we're good then.
Oh yeah, anyway. Certain drivers won't be bullied this time. Omar is 5/10 in front of his teammate, currently on provisional pole. Yannick next to his teammate, 9/10 ahead of him in third and fourth, and has a time in fifth, but his quality record isn't great, but in the races he normally comes quite good, as we've seen. We're waiting for laps from the other half and one more on the grid.
Lord Percival next car around on a flying lap in the McLaren. Nice helmet there. I don't know if is he Belgian? Is he Belgian or?
He's German.
German. I see his helmet looked like quite cool, like a little, almost a bit like a Belgian flag from one of the angles. But go on board with him though through on. Oh my god, I'm so budded. Is it 130R?
130R, yes.
There we go. My head, I was like 180. I was like, no, that's no. Oh, budded at this. Anyway, coming across the line though, the McLaren driver will go P4. Second off pole position. Omar with a strong time. We said provisional, but at the moment it's the outright fastest. But there will be drivers coming across the line to try and stop that.
Vesta into the pit lane, not quite gonna be it. Timbed is starting his lap just now.
Lightning Luke is a little bit faster. Coming through the first sector split, he was 32 thousandths up. Let's see what he can, or how much more speed he can carry into the next sector. We'll find out as he goes on to that long back straight leading up towards 130R. Through the sprint curves now, getting nice and grounded through those corners. Really nicely done, but he's caught the inside curb and he's got the car sideways, and unfortunately that's going to end his lap. We won't find out if he goes quicker than his teammate Yannick. Quite far back. There's not running many other drivers here.
Is on a lap at the moment, his first one of the session. Maybe got a bit of traffic here. I think there's a Williams just getting out of the way as he comes out of the hairpin. I'm not sure if it has a name, that one. Should be called the Kobayashi corner.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it has a name.
Air Fiat or something from when he decided to just go supersonic through there.
Luckily Timbed avoiding doing anything like that as he comes out of Spoon Curve and down the straight towards 130R. No DRS on this straight because, you know, 130R exists, and that would be an absolute death trap as he comes through to the final hairpin. Also unsure if this one has a name. It's a chicane, not a hairpin. Get that right, Dammers. Through the last corner, DRS activated, and Timbed up to 5th.
Any other drivers on any of the laps? Yannick's a little bit down on his lap, but he's only 35,000 down on his lap, so he might keep himself in this one just to try and see. Maybe he knows he made up some time during the chicane. Attacks the chicane really aggressively there, but it looks like he's carrying enough speed. He's not going to pull into the pits. He's going to come across the line. He's going a little bit quicker. It's a PB, but it's not enough to improve his position, so he stays P3.
Close to Luke as Alba's on the lap, and he's been very aggressive through Sector 1 so far. All over the exit curbs. He's definitely trying to maximise his speed throughout the mid corners, as through the Kobayashi corner I'm going to call it for this event. He goes out to the exit towards Spoon, the Ferrari of Charlie keeping out of the way. He's on an out lap, he had to set a time. And out Spoon curve he comes. Really sparingly using that ERS so far, not really troubled his battery usage yet, and I don't know if he's going to, with 30% to go. And into the last two corners he comes, he's kicked out the rear at the entry of the chicane and kicked the rear out of the exit of the last corner somehow. Across the line he comes, and it's 7th, good enough to be quicker than Hazard time, but you know, he's got a bit more time to catch there, and Charlie has started that.
Yeah, I'm going to go on board with Charlie for this one. And he's immediately messed it up, so maybe a bit of a commentator's curse there. That looks like he's driving a controller the way that he... Is he driving a controller?
I mean, it definitely looks like it. Either that or he's let Piper drive, which it also looks like.
I think that's actually an insult to the controller. It looks almost a bit like a keyboard, the way that he's like soaring at the wheel. He's gone off again.
He or she. Harold is going to do the next set of time, and it's a purple sector 2. Our current champion through the final couple of corners. Avoid the bump on the inside. Keep it tight to the line. And it's a pole position at the moment. 28 dead, 5/10 quicker than anyone else.
Anyone else up on a lap? Ooh, 5/10 quicker is Tizian. Going through the final chicane now. Ooh, trying to send it through. He's got a little bit too wide there. Maybe lose a little bit of time, but he's just gone behind his teammate into P5 there. Omar starting another flying lap as well.
Hazard time is maybe on 1. I'm not too sure. He's on hot lap, but he's got a lot of ERS.
Quicker, a lot quicker.
He is.
1.1 seconds quicker, which would put him in a net. What's that? Well, only P8. But you must know that he can make up a lot more. Exit there, cuts back in though to shorten the track as quick as possible. But no, he's lost time. And he still stays in P9.
Curve.
Is Timber on a quick lap?
Charlie's on another one now. See if he can actually hook up. This time, no, not a chance. It's almost into the wall.
And he'll have to pull in for one more
and
run.
Hazard time did go into the wall.
Oh, yes, yeah.
At that corner. I can also tell you that it's 100% not Charlie driving that car.
Unless he's late to get back from work or something and he's getting someone else to do it for him.
Oh, spin for the last corner from Luke. And he spins into the pit lane.
Oh, Lord Percival on a quicker lap time this time. He's 7/10 quicker, which would put him into a P3 at the moment. If he can keep it all together here, this could be a really good lap for Percival. He could jump the field. It's a P3. Almost 7/10 quicker than his previous lap. And he breaks into that 1 second mark, which does put him into a P3 at the moment. And this is where the drivers will be starting to come in. So I think about their final runs. Do they go out a little bit earlier so they can get a good run in, or do they go out a little bit later and risk possibly invalidating their lap and not getting an improvement? This is one of those tracks where if you throw everything at it, there's such a risk and reward as well. This track, especially that first sector as well, it's so hard to just push a little bit too hard, go a little bit deep, or catch one of the curbs or something. We've already seen one person this session get caught out by that in a big way, which was hazard time, as he's no longer going to be completing the session, might be to get another lap in. Although I will say he didn't change tyres. It says he's on 5 lap old soft. So potentially a strap for the race, maybe?
Potentially, although I've just heard rumours that we might have a bit of rain in the race.
Oh.
So it would definitely be something to spice up if there is rain in the air. So 2 cars yet to set a time of Esther and Charlie. See if either car does end up out there, choose to set a time. Starting at the back of the grid wouldn't be at the end of a race for anyone with an 11 car grid, so we'll see how this one plays out. Sauber is the one who's setting up to go on a lap.
Oh, and Lord Percival spinning at the final chicane. As that is Yannick coming out of the pits now for an outlap. So he's the first driver to bite the bullet and come out the pits. Second is Zalba. No, Zalba was the first. Sorry, unrecognised Zalba. Although there is another car coming out of the pits. That is Omar, so we keep track of them as the drivers will start to transition towards looking at their final runs trying to make sure that they get the best possible qualifying position. It'd be interesting to see what these drivers are like in the wet, though, because no doubt they would have probably chosen mainly dry setups, or mainly tried to harness the dry setup rather than the wet setup. So it'd be interesting to see what happens.
Well, through turn 1, he's already down to 40% ERS, so I'm not quite sure how he's burned that all already. But through the S section now, that was relatively clean compared to last time. He attacked the curbs really aggressively on his opening lap, but it's actually, well, it's 8 tenths up, so he's found massive improvements.
So when he's 2.6 seconds down, or 2.5 seconds down, you've got to hope to find that sort of wedges of time, which that would still put him...
If we get him close to Tim Beds.
Yeah, it would get him... Sure. I think we would get him past him, wouldn't it?
Yes, past him, but close also.
1.7, but ooh, he's kept it away from the curves.
And kept it on track.
And kept it valid, and he's only got a couple more corners to worry about here as he comes across the line. What is the sector split there? 1.1 seconds. It's definitely a lot quicker. In fact, that would put him definitely ahead of Timbers. And now,
can he had a moment for the last corner last time.
He did.
Really keep it together.
He even had a moment here as well, and he's kept it again, so he might even get past Tizian into P6 here. P4, it's even better.
Well, we're going to see other runs from other drivers, but at the moment, Zauber is lining up in the second row of the grid. I know it's only 11 cars, but Zauber at the minute is out qualifying 7 of them.
Yannick at the moment 1/10 up through the first sector. His teammate's in front on an outlap, so I wonder if there could be... We talked about that teammate play, and he's slowing down. It looks like he might be giving his teammate a bit of a tow here, possibly. Unless they're not working together. Oh, no, he might not be going... No, okay, he's
he's very close to giving him a tow, but not quite.
He's high gearing it. Yeah, it's 2 tenths quicker across the line, so at the moment he would be only P5.
No, he'd get himself into P3, wouldn't he?
But if he climbs it now though, oh yeah, I know I'm being
Yannick, there we go. We got a Vesta on an outlap, and behind him, Herod starting one as well. Lord Percival on an outlap, so just a bunch of cars on outlaps. Omar's invalidated, so he's going to maybe try and go again. So
I think Charlie's back because he's not seesawing at the wheel.
So Charlie is now on a lap and spins as we say. So that would be Charlie at the back of the grid.
And we just realised as well, Vesta hasn't set a lap yet.
And the Vesta's on one now.
Oh, the Sauber off in the gravel there, but that won't matter to a Vesta. Might be a little bit of a distraction.
Tizian backwards in the gravel.
Oh my, purple
so
first
no
sector.
Better for P7 for him. Lightning Luke can only do P6.
And if anyone is going to be a candidate to get into the 27th session, it's going to be a Vesta. A Vesta with a brilliant first sector. I didn't see what it was compared to Herod because he hasn't set a lap yet, so you can't really say if it's a PB or not, but it looked quick. It came up as a purple sector. We know it can be a glitch, but what this guy is driving, it usually has a bit more merit to it. It's a low fuel one as well. He drifts a little bit too wide on the exit, but it hasn't invalidated though. And he's still going from P10. Where will he end up? Surely one of the top 2 positions here. He comes across the second sector with a 111.2. Charlie out of the session, but that won't hinder this man, a Vesta at all, through the final chicane. Got to keep it clean. Got to keep it straight. It's the final apex of the lap across the line, and he puts it top with a 27.898.
Herod can't do it. A Vesta's on pole. A Vesta will be on pole.
Percival not quick enough.
Lord Percival to the line, he can't deny him. As you say, Omar not quick enough. Timbed can't improve. Tizian already spun on his lap. So a Vesta is the man on pole position. Herod alongside him. Omar lines up third with Yannick alongside him. The third row, Lord Percival and Zauber Draka.
Now Vesta treating it as a one-shot quali and still ends up on pole. I mean, what do you say?
Well, 2 at the end had to do a one-shot, and it went much better for 1 than it did the 2. It's a sandwich consisting of a Vesta and Charlie, both race winners in the past, Herod as well. race winner in second. And then you have Omar, Yannick, Lord Percival, Zauber, Lightning Luke down in seventh, the qualifying. Really unravelling for Omar's teammate and current championship leader. Avesta just 10 points behind him in that now. Tizian in 8th, Timbed 9th, Hazard Time in 10th. And as I say, Charlie, the one to not set a lap.
I'm going to quickly go get a drink up back for the race.
Indeed. So, gonna have a monster fight, I'm sure, between Avesta and Herod. And the rain is here as well. It does look from this angle as if the track is wet. Quick question is it actually wet? It looked it from that angle, but I don't know if those guys are actually on intermediates or not. Medium tyres for the whole field, barring Lord Percival and Lightning Luke in the mid-pack. Mid-pack, weird to say, for 5th and 7th place, but here we are.
Right, hello. Right, so...
Hello.
Have you run through the grid yet, or...?
Yeah, mediums for everyone. Hards, though, for Lord Percival and Lightning Luke, so not everyone.
It's looking a bit dark, isn't it? We got any
yeah,
info
I thought it
from any
was raining
drivers?
from the first angle.
Any info from any drivers?
No, mostly just people very pleased about their quali sessions. But yeah, Omar saying this is one of his best qualies, Lord Percival, and of course Zauber. Jatin also saying if Zauber doesn't score points from here, then well.
Well, I think it is more of a case of a few finishes at this point, because you are pretty guaranteed points, because someone's going to DNF. Someone's going to have to DNF, or someone's going to have a really bad race. And as long as he keeps his nose clean, we could be here for a generational Zauber points finish, which doesn't happen often. It is like an eclipse, a solar eclipse. So when it does happen, you might as well start a holiday, or like get a national holiday for when it does happen. So as they head down the final straight of the race, or not of the race, of the lap, some drivers aggressively pulling up their tyres. In the background there, some very different approaches to doing so. Avesta controlling the pace at the moment. It's not too backed up though. He's kind of pulling ahead a little bit. There's a decent gap between everyone there, but I feel like, is it too late to ask predictions? I'm going to say quick fire prediction. Avesta win, Herod second, and I reckon Percival third.
I think we're going to see a great battle between Avesta and Herod. I'll say Herod to win, to be different to you.
Okay.
For Avesta in second, and I reckon we'll see Lightning Luke fight his way back for a third place.
Well, there's only Williams got fucking his position. Oh, we've made it. Anyway, the 5 lights are coming on though, and when they go out, we will be racing for the Japanese Grand Prix. Off they go, tire smoke billowing all the way from the cars as they head down towards turn 1. Avesta covers off Herod straight from the start. It was a good start, and they remain pretty much in order. Towards the back, there looks like a little bit of wing damage towards the back of the grid there. Can't really see who that was, but Charlie getting almost spinning the car coming out of the first corner. And not going to be, he's got to fight his way through the pack though. It's going to be a difficult day for Charlie. But the grid looking pretty much unchanged, only a few positions, maybe swapping around a little bit. But I suppose that's what you'd expect from quite a small grid at the moment, and it looks like there's already a bit of battling towards the back end here. They want to gain positions as quickly as possible, but all looking okay. But Zauber sending it up the inside of Tizian through Degna 2, and he's forced him out wide. And Tizian is not going to like that one little bit. And I was so aggressive towards the back end there. Look at that. An amazing, I say amazing, an interesting dive from Timbed. And there's a massive shuffle towards the back here. But Zauber, a suicide bomb move, is sort of worked out for him because he's managed to get himself up at the P6. And there's still contact towards the back as well. Tizian keeps falling backwards. I wonder if he's got a little bit of damage or something. Or he's just being a little bit reckless due to the incident that happens between him and Zauber. But what an interesting first lap we've had already.
Well, sun's everywhere in places you don't expect them. I said Japan's hard to get alongside. Well, we're seeing them all over the road together so far. Charlie has been one all over the road. So as Tizian, he's gone for another little look there on Lightning Luke, who's back in P8 now. Across the line, Avesta's the one in the lead. Will Herod be close enough to make any move towards turn 1? A more conventional place to make a move? No, not quite. There's more battling in the back.
Yeah, with DRS open as well, it might help things a little bit. Although, for a track that's as long... Oh, Ferrari off, yep. See that? Child off in the background.
Tizian, yeah. Almost contact and eventually forcing himself off the road.
It's going to be an interesting battle to watch out for towards the back end here. Tizian, as I say, an interesting move from Zauber, and it looked like he wanted to get back those positions as quickly as possible. He was kind of helped by Timbed, who put in a really forceful move on Lightning Luke. He gained the position there, as well as... Oh, well, I don't know if I'd like that, or that was someone else there, but that was interesting. But yeah, positions at the moment unchanged. For a track that's this long, it is interesting to see that there's only one DRS zone, but I feel that's the only safe DRS zone, so I don't know where you'd really want to take it off, especially down that back straight leading up towards 130
yard. Yeah, there's a place. Maybe towards Spoon would be an okay place.
Yeah.
But the braking towards Spoon is quite late, so the DRS road closed kind of mid-entry corner.
True.
Herod closing to the back of Avesta, but nothing doing so far. Zauber actually getting past Lord Percival, who's on the hard tyres and dropping back towards that part of the field that we saw battling so hard at the start. Started to mellow out a little bit now, which is kind of good to see from a more what would you say, cleaner standpoint. But the battling's still going on. It's Charlie now getting past Hazard Time with the DRS, and yeah, Zauber getting past Lord Percival without that. The two Germans swapping positions. He's now got to look behind him at another German, Timbed, who's going to want to get past pretty soon.
Omar, at the moment, still in his, well, qualified in P3, said it was one of his best qualifyings in his VIP career, and at the moment, he's keeping that position as well. 3 laps in, but Yannick not providing much of a challenge so far, but once the DRS comes on, and at the moment, it looks like he's drifting out of that DRS in front of him, so unfortunately for Omar, he's going to be a little bit preoccupied with Yannick here, and he can't fight for any higher positions. But he's given himself a great platform for a great start to the races. Percival and Zauber getting very close for the hairpin there at the moment. It's also a 4-car battle, 4P5, with the guys behind as well, closing in quite quickly.
Well, the gap starting to emerge between the 4th and 5th is getting quite substantial here, whether it's because Lord Percival's on hards or Zauber maybe just doesn't have the outright pace at the minute. But where Zauber got past Lord Percival, we're going to see maybe Lord Percival making the move back. In the background, Lightning Luke on the hards is starting to make a move on Timbed, and I think he's got that done. Zauber defended from Lord Percival, late on the brakes, down the inside. Lightning Luke does complete the move as Avesta sets yet another fast
Zauber almost into the pit wall. Zauber almost spun into the pit wall there. Really close there for the Red Bull driver. Flags again for that incident there. And it's almost 3 wide into what's turn 1 here.
Tizian.
Oh! Into the... Oh, no.
And he's almost spun himself on the inside corner.
Oof. I was saying it was going to get interesting towards the back there. And that all started from Tim just getting a bad exit. As soon as he started that, it then created those two going sideways, created the move from Lightning Luke. And then, of course, what happened up front with Zauber. Zauber looked like it was going to be a positive race for him, but he's dropped back now to, well, last place.
He's still on the back of the field as at the front. Avesta's off. Avesta is off. Into the gravel, and he rejoins back in the big gap. I tell you what, no he doesn't. Lord Percival's through as well, down to 5th place. It all seems to go swimmingly from so far, saying fastest lap after fastest lap, holding Avesta, holding a Herod off, but no, into the gravel.
And if Herod had no part to play in that incident with, in that in that situation where Vesta went off track, that is an absolute gift for the Spanish driver. That is an absolute gift. Almost 2.5 second gap between him and Omar at the moment. Omar preoccupied with Yannick. This is an absolute gift for him, and he will take this with both hands, and he will make sure that he makes the most out of it as it's getting a bit close, though, between the Aston Martin driver and Luke almost got involved himself there, almost a bit unwanted, as he was timbered as well. And this battle is now backing them up into the Ferrari driver of Charlie. This is a mental battle between about half the field.
And there's two of them going too wide now. It's Charlie.
Oh, Charlie with a double move. If Charlie gets this done, it's a brilliant double move, but he can't quite get the run.
That would have been brilliant if he could have got 2 and 1. Timber demoted down another position on another lap as a Mo for Vesta again keeps lightning Luke, looking for a position. Lil Purcell running wide on the hard tyres. He's now not the lead driver on the strategy. Vesta making his way back up through the field again. Wow, it's been chaotic at the back, but clean so far.
Yeah, fairly clean. There's been a few incidents, but nothing big enough for anyone to be pitting. But there's just been a couple interesting sends, but good awareness from some of the drivers, though, to try and get themselves out of those situations and not just keep going as principles off.
Into the grass, he's managed to keep it in the right direction, but it might cost him another couple positions here. Will Timbed be able to go the whole way around the outside? Oh, he's turned in a bit early. Hasn't cost Lil Purcell a spin, so he keeps his position.
Vesta again. Vesta's running into wind damage. It's all gone from bad to worse. And I wonder, I know from talking to a couple of drivers a couple of rounds ago, a lot of them really are struggling with distraction or with the handling model on this game. And I wonder if he's having maybe some issues himself at the moment, or maybe just the track, the setup, something's not working for Vesta. And he's pulled into the pits now to replace that front wing that he's damaged, and he's got a penalty as well for speeding in the pit lane. Well, when it pours, when it rains, it pours for Vesta at the moment.
Speaking of rain, it's only getting darker out there.
And Zalba is confirmed points if he finishes. Vesta retires from the session. I predicted him to win the race. Conte is cursed. I've ever seen it. He's retired from the race.
So Lightning Luke inches closer to a potential second title, the only ever driver or team to win a second title in VRP, 5 seasons in. Charlie has made his way up to P4 off camera, so brilliant work from Charlie, who at one point was last, 5.5 seconds off the podium positions, which have run away.
First of all, he locked the rears into the hairpin and he's gone around.
Definitely struggled these last couple laps. Zalba's managed to get past hazard time as well, so battling all over the field.
The field kind of spreading out at the moment. And I don't think we'll see another pit stop for another good few laps due to everyone starting on some pretty safe tyres. There's all a bit of contact between Tibbet and Tizian there, almost running him off track, and Tizian, he's going to feel a bit hard done by this race. He's had a couple interesting moments from a couple of the drivers, and it's kind of the usual suspects in this race. Oh, the rest is left.
Lightning Luke getting past Charlie, and Tizian now getting past Timbed. I think the two of those have been involved in a fair few bangs and smashes. The car's going to have to get the look over when it gets back at the end of the race. It might be a bit lighter than normal.
Watching Charlie through the chicanes, he was right at the back of Luke there, following him, as these cars are built to do, but unfortunately it looked like he got a little bit too happy on the throttle, getting a little bit of a moment, but really aggressive curve there from Luke. Almost looked like the car went on 2 wheels for a second there.
Something we may have missed. P2 now occupied by Yannick Will.
Yep, but the gap though has increased between P2 and P1, or at least it had increased. There's a little bit of time being made up now, but I wonder if that's mainly due to ERS or something. But yeah, the gap still bigger though for Juan, who will be enjoying that lead a lot. And now that his main rival for the race is out, unless a safety car happens, it looks like, I thought not to speak too soon, it looks like Juan has kind of got this wrapped up a little bit.
Indeed it does.
And I'm saying that with the intent of Conte's curse.
Omar's going to get past Yannick again this lap. It looks maybe the two will try slipstream their way back towards Herod, but a track like Japan, very, very hard to do. The gap does close slightly, but then begins to grow again. Charlie on the back of Lightning, Luke unable to make a move on him, and Zauber's getting past Hazard Time, and Tizian and Timbed were side by side for a little bit. Tizian holding on to the position. That is your update on Turn 1 news.
Yep, we'll see you again next lap. Looking through this, the gaps that kind of were a little bit close by turn 1, still sort of close, about 3-4 tenths is the gap. Oh, Hazard almost catching the inside curve there, out of the S's. But at the moment, a little bit spread out. I guess the moment to watch these two leading bunch here, they're going to be next onto a long straight where they can think about an overtake.
They're going to set ourselves up for the finish with the when the strategies start to come into it. When will you choose to pit? Around, I think.
The only one that could be interesting, I wonder if Luke's pace will be good enough to maybe get himself past these two, because of course he'll be able to do an overcut, and he's been closing in on these two while they've been battling a little bit. Although Charlie could be getting pulled along, but he is on the same strategy as the drivers in front of him. So, at the moment though, it's looking really good for Luke, actually.
Well, from my very limited experience at Japan, around, I want to say lap 11 to 15? Maybe 11 to 14-ish is when you want to start coming in on from the medium tyres. If you're going onto the hards, that is. I wouldn't see why you'd go onto the softs as Timbed past Tizian. The hard strat tends to be a lot worse here, starting on the hards, that is, but you know, some drivers can make it work, and maybe Lightning Luke can. He has just lost the position to Charlie, who's on the same strat as the majority of the field at this point. But maybe some will extend to try go to a soft. Again, I don't see why you would. But also, Charlie in the last race went for an interesting strat of going for softs for about 15 laps at Monza. And it ended up working somewhat towards his favour, so he's one to watch on the strategy forefront, as I think I saw a bit of rain. So maybe that's what some of them are holding out for.
Maybe. We did hope us learners there were going to be rain during the race, and usually that means, I'm going to say usually that means yes, but
there is rain in the air. There is 100% a couple drops.
Rain is in the air. I've seen a few. Yeah, I'm on board with Yannick now, trying to see what he's seeing. I've seen a few drops, but nothing major.
Nothing on the visor, as Charlie's the first to pick up a penalty, just cutting over the chicanes a little too much.
Yannick getting past Omar. It's our Lapley overtake in towards turn 1.
Turn 1 news. Yep, Lightning Luke unable to make the move, but Tizian can, so he's back past Timbed.
There's a 3-car battle here.
3 wide! Turn 1 news just got exciting, but they all stay in the same order. Zauber ahead of Lord Percival, ahead of Hazard Time. Lord Percival actually, after that spin, has managed to catch this duo up fairly quickly, and he'll try and make the progress back towards the mid reaches of the top 10.
Timbed's still quite close. He's the closest driver at the moment into the gaps. Oh no, tell a lie, it's not. It's Percival and Zauber. Oh, they're going for into the daggers, and there was a bit of contact, I think, and I don't know if a bit of wind came off there. There was a heavy bit of contact.
They look okay, but yeah, Zauber kept his nose in.
Yeah, probably when he shouldn't have done, but it creates some good racing, good entertainment for us, so I won't complain too much.
The rain is 100% here now, by the way. The drops are a lot more consistent. Just wait for it to start hitting the cameras, and well, then you've got to start thinking about when they're going to pit.
Start to see it a lot more now from the POV, driver POVs, and yep, now on the camera it's starting to become a bit more prominent. And now, what will the drivers do? Who will be the first to bite? I wonder if towards the back someone might go for a bit of a risk, maybe jump onto the inters early, unless they're able to drive through most of the rain. Depends how long it's out for, really. So it's something like a driver drip, some information.
Charlie isn't one adverse to a risk in strategy. Jose Alba as well is one where you see there's more punch on strategy as Hazard Time doesn't quite put his nose up the inside of his elbow towards turn one. I think drivers maybe at this stage starting to think, let's not risk anything, let's stay in the race at this point because Rain definitely throws strategy in the air and can bring you right back into it by a good few seconds if you get it right and others do not.
Yeah, and Omar still sat on the back of Yannick. He'll be wanting, because of course now his chances of a podium have been dramatically increased with the fact that Rosa Vesta's out, which would be perfect for his race. And perfect for, I mean, what's Omar's highest finish? Has he won a race before, or is he?
No, he's never stood on the podium either.
Wow, so there's a perfect opportunity for him to do so. But he's got to be wary. He's got his teammate behind, and his teammate hopefully will be hoping. We talked about that teammate game earlier, and sometimes it'll go hope, sometimes they won't, and he'll be hoping today is a day where they do.
He sure will. It's a podium that's been coming based off his results this season. That man in front of him, Yannick, picked up his first podium this season and then got a P2 last round out as well. So we'll see if we'll get a little swapping position here. We will. Omar past Yannick on this lap. Those cars behind are, albeit swapping, beginning to catch. The gap's gone from 5.5 to 4.5.
A bit battling towards the back end as well. Just so you're not be able to get past, but Hazard Time and Zalba.
Contact.
You wouldn't believe that they'd be trying to finish the race at this point. They're racing like every lap is the final lap or something.
It's beginning to feel a bit like no luck. They're 2x2x2, swapping position every lap. Poor old Herod and Lord Ursula without anyone though, so I guess maybe if Herod slows down a bit, he can have a partner in this.
Maybe. I think he's closing in a little bit on Tivian. The rain looking a lot worse though now, and I wonder who's going to be feeling it more, the worn mediums or the hards, which naturally have a little bit less grip, but it's more a case of who gets first at this point.
Well, at this stage, the hards should start coming into their own compared to the mediums. The mediums should start to wear away. It just depends how well you've treated them. If you're Herod, probably very well. If you're someone like Tizian or Charlie who's been involved in battles throughout, maybe through no fault of your own, slightly worse a state as Tizian and Timbed still go at it towards 130. Tizian is the man in front, but he's going to have to defend, or will he? Timbed not making a move, and then into the back of Tizian. I think he's picked up a bit of wing damage there, not visible, but he definitely hit into the back of Tizian on exit. And he's going to make the move anyway around the outside. Can he hold on to it? Yes, he can.
Good move.
Very decent move. And we've seen a lot of this race so far. Zalba has lost a couple seconds to Hazard Time on this lap, so I'm not sure what befell him.
We go another lap, wondering when will they pit. Surely the window's got to be open about now. In fact, I'm actually seeing the blue... Oh, hello. The blue spanner and screwdriver, which, if you don't know, does mean pit window is open. So, the pit window is open for the medium drivers. When will they decide to do it? It does look like a pretty simple medium to hard strategy, but it depends when you decide to pit. Which means we should be seeing the hard runners. I doubt they'll go for the soft. Surely they'll just maximise the rest like the best they can at the mediums. If they do decide to hit, that is the hard runners. That's how I go.
Yeah. So an interesting thought as well could be whether or not the rain will ever become hard enough to pit.
It's not looking like it. No one's jumping at the bit to go into the pits, really.
And the rain hasn't ever really increased over the course of the last 3 laps. We'll see if spray ever starts to pick up from anyone, but get more position changes at turn 1.
And more tellingly, the fact that DRS is still enabled.
Yeah, very true.
Oh, Zalba going really deep at the chicane, and he'll get a penalty for that.
Oh yeah, 3 seconds added to his time. He's 10 seconds behind Hazard Time. So long as he stays in, he's got a point here. Definitely one of the weirder races we've experienced in virtual racing project. But points up for grabs for basically everyone in the field today. No reserves, so the standings will change quite a bit by the end of this one. And with Avesta outlining Luke set to increase his gap at the top. He missed the last 2 races, so the gap came down. Avesta, who 2 rounds ago was on 0 points, ended up winning the next 2 with the 2 fastest laps. So managed to get 52, cut into Lightning Luke's 62 point advantage at the top. But Lightning Luke in 5th place will double the gap between himself and Avesta as things stand. I think the fastest lap still belongs to Avesta, which it does, and at this stage isn't going to be broken. Charlie actually made a gap towards Lightning Luke this lap, so very strange with the tyre strategies whether the hards are ever properly coming into their own. Lord Percival has caught the never-ending battle between Tizian and Timbed. And Timbed putting his nose down the inside. Bit of contact, either curb or car. Keeps it together, but Lord Percival all over his wing mirrors now. And in fact, he might try go around the outside. There's more contact between the two. Timbed not leaving enough space. Maybe he didn't see Lord Percival squeezing his way around the outside of him, but either way, Lord Percival's through into 7th. And he has Tizian in front of him now. We'll try and make the move. Under the bridge they go. .4 the gap Herod keeping to those behind, but the gap between Yannick and Omar to Charlie has closed by another second. 3.5 now, so a podium not dead in the water for Lightning Luke. For Charlie maybe a little bit, because he's got that 3-second time penalty. He's going to have to hold on till the end. Can't serve it in the pit stop, so he's going to have it added to his race time.
Lightning Luke might be gearing up for a move here on Charlie, heading down towards the back straight now, jumping on board with him, and Luke blasts past him before they've even got to turn 1, before they even got to the pit exit really, and into turn 1, into the P4 that is.
And the first one into the pit lane, first 2.
Oh yep, Tizian and Timbed, the 2 Tiz are going into the pit lane. And what they're going to
inseparable.
It'll probably just
hard
be
tyres.
It'll probably just be a old switcheroo, him onto the hards and him onto the hards as well. The strategy we all kind of anticipated. Zab was also into the pits as well, and those are softs. What?
A double stop for Zauber. Maybe actually after a fastest lap to double his points total.
But you know he's got to go fast for that.
Well, he's on softs and will have lower fuel than when Avesta had it, so if he just bangs out a couple of fast lap attempts and finishes the race, well, he's guaranteed a top 10, isn't he? So
yeah,
maybe not the worst strat Zauber's ever had come to mind. Low on fuel though. Timbed with a penalty now, 3 seconds going.
I have heard a few drivers as well murmuring about that, saying that the fuel loss on this game is a lot more dramatic than it has been recently. I'm one of the drivers that I like to underfuel the car a little bit, to just so that if there are safety cars and I don't end up in an overweight car, as P2 and P3 into the pits. So it's the top 3 actually into the pits. Harold's already changed his tyres. He's already out onto those fresh hards. It's now Luke who takes the lead of the race. Charlie's also into the pits.
Stays out.
No, he's not. He stayed out. Yeah, so Harold in. And then it is hard tyres for Omar. And of course hard tyres as well for Yannick.
So the interesting thing to note is, as Lord Percival goes around the outside of Herod, hang on, these two not wanting to come into contact now, and they don't. Herod, the man who's come out of the pit lane, stays in front. The interesting thing to note now is, will the rain ever pick up enough to warrant an intermediate tyre? If it does, then the strat that Lightning Luke, Lord Percival, Charlie is on will definitely play into their hands. If it doesn't, then you got to come into the pit lane sooner rather than later, you'd say.
It doesn't sound like it. Well, I mean, they would no doubt they'd be spamming that weather update on their MFDs, and they would be seeing whether or not there'll be, will the rain intensify, what's going to happen, will the rain be lighter, will the rain stay at this sort of pace for like most of the race. And I feel like if the rain would have gotten heavier, we would have seen a soft runner like Zauber instead of. I don't know. It doesn't look like it's getting heavier. I don't feel like it's going to get any heavier, but. Again, they haven't disabled DRS though, which is a big telltale of how bad the rain is, really.
And no spray in the air either. Yannick, a few moments ago at Kobayashi Corner, made a very nice dive on Hazard Time. So, Hazard Time was kind of losing Yannick a bit of time, and he's actually out of DRS of Omar now. He's going to have to try and catch back up, as he is doing. Spamming the overtake button.
Timbed shaping up for a move on Tizian now. As into the pits goes Luke onto the mediums, as we expected. Charlie onto the soft
Charlie onto the softs.
A risky strategy.
I did say that Charlie isn't adverse to a risky strat, and he's gone for one again.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the mediums went what, 17? I mean, the mediums have gone 17 laps. So surely the softs could go like 8 or 9 good laps maybe before you start really struggling.
From my experience, they last about 6 before they feel
around a track it's very difficult to overtake, though, and you have to rely on DRS zones. It's whether or not he trusts himself to have the pace for it, and whether he doesn't chuck it away.
Lost a heap of time to Lightning Luke, who's
no DRS as well. No DRS, and the drivers in front will be in a bit of a train, really, if they start closing the gaps a little bit more. The driver in front is Lightning Luke, who has just got past. Time, and no doubt will be closing in on Yannick and his teammate as quickly as possible, but Purple still hasn't hit yet. And he'll probably go on to the softs, I feel like. If he's committed to the hards this long, it feels like he'll be going on to the softs. Maybe if he pits like lap 20, he should be able to go to the end and have decent pace throughout.
Well, there's 2 ways you can take this. Charlie's decision to go into the softs. Either he trusts them to make it to the end and he thinks he can get extra pace out of doing that, rather than switching to a hard, which is his thoughts behind Monza, or he's predicting that the rain will get worse within the next few laps, taking the early pain to go onto a different set of tyres before going onto the inters.
Oh, Percival, what a save there. It looked like he almost did what he did when he spun at the hairpin earlier on the race. It looked like he locked the rears coming into the pits and managed to keep it in a straight line though. Hazard Time also pitting as well, and he'll probably be going onto the softs this late on the race. Yes, he does. Another risky, aggressive strategy. It feels like a good strategy if you're at a track where safety cars are common. This track is not very common for safety cars, especially when the racing's been fairly clean as it's. I mean, there's been some aggressive moves and a little bits of damage, but there's nothing too. It's not like you're doing a Singapore where you're pretty guaranteed at least one safety car.
Well, Japan often does cause people to hit the wall, especially through the S section, but, we've seen some very modest racing out there today. The first few laps definitely the action-packed part of it, but, we guaranteed that with almost any race. The lap 1 and the few after that will be field of drama as Tizian looking if he can try and make that move on Timbed, because he's got Lord Percival and fresh mediums right up behind him. This battle for P6.
Watching P3 at the moment, Luke looks like he might be able to get a move on Yannick into 130i. Goes to the outside, heading through one of the fastest corners in F1. He's kept the move, he held his line. Good racing between those two there, could have ended badly.
Kimi Räikkönen, is that you? On the outside 130R in slightly damp conditions. He's now got his teammate ahead of him, his teammate on for his first podium. Lightning Luke coming back through the field. The strat has worked for him. Charlie on the softs is making time up on these guys, but in about 4 laps time he's going to start feeling effects of being on a red Wolves tyre.
Contact between Percival and Tizian. Yet again, it's Tizian going a little bit too slow being through the chicane. They're not carrying enough corner speed. We saw Timber do it earlier, hit the back of him, and Percival just did the exact same, hit the back of him, but does not look like there was much damage though, or if any damage between the two drivers. Closest gap on track is Tizian and Timber at the moment. I say that is now completely switched because there was a moment, but It's two teammates though, Lightning Luke and Omar, and if they're not talking to each other, you'd like to think that Omar wouldn't fight this too hard. Of course, he'll be wanting this podium. So if he can sit behind his teammate, get some DRS, try and pull him with him or something, I don't know. But because Omar will be wanting the podium, but Luke will of course be wanting to maximise the points that he can get today, which looks like it will be a sweet second place that will help him perfectly in the championship.
Yes, indeed. Well, just looking at the times of those who's gone into softs, there's going to be no challenge to fast lap with the rain in the air. Even those who've gone into softs are struggling to get it, within 8/10 of what Avesta did in the opening stages.
Wow.
So that one seems to be done. Charlie's worked his way into DRS of this, now 4-car battle. But like I say, he's got to maximise his time now before the pain starts to hit later on. As Lightning Luke does now make that rather easy move on Omar. Omar not fighting it. These two worked well together so far this season. And you can see that in the reflection of the championship standings, VCarb a long way in front of anyone else in the team standings.
So with that, big on.
Just saying that Yannick got to start checking his mirrors now. Charlie all over the back of him, both attacking that diagonal and curve.
Wow.
Curb very aggressively.
Yeah.
Yannick with that brilliant helmet, which matches his car very nicely.
Yeah.
I said this last round, but it's very nice. Somewhat actually makes that Sauber livery somewhat bearable.
Charlie almost running a bit of a tricolor, which makes sense being the Ferrari driver. Running a nice little white, green and a red helmet as well. Don't know why we're talking about helmets in this race, but I was a bit of a geek as well when I was doing league racing on F1, trying to make cool helmets. I tried to recreate Häkkönen's helmet quite a few times and miserably failed. There was only one game I think it looked alright on.
Well, that's Charlie's Monza helmet, so either he's extended his use of it or just probably forgot. The rain looks like it's getting a bit heavier. Tizian and Tim Bed, though, will change position yet again.
He moves, no. And Lord Percival can't, he's on better tyres, but just can't get past them. And speaking of getting past, it's Charlie who's up past the inside of Yannick into P4. He might try and crash this V-car party. He's got the tyres at the moment though, but how long will they last for? Maybe with the track being as cold as it will be, with it being raining, it might not have much degradation, but the wear will probably still be worse, but the deg might not be as bad.
I tell you what though, Yannick also didn't make it really easy. They were side by side through the line track to turn one. It was only on the exit Charlie finally made it through. I thought there could be contact, but there wasn't. Charlie then, with that moment on exit, proving that his tyres might not all be there at the minute, but the pace is certainly going his way as things are.
Charlie's rinsing every little ounce of pace out of these tyres. Every corner, it sounds like he's maximising the gears on the exits. He's getting a little bit sideways through like some of the exits as well. He is pushing so hard right now, and Omar will no doubt start to feel the pressure at this point, especially because we're not too far away from a DRS point, and he will use that to his advantage.
Of course though, to rain on the party a little bit, Charlie has that 3-second time penalty.
He does.
Whether or not he can get it removed, we don't know, but I'm sure Omar won't want to take the risk of Charlie potentially getting it removed.
Sorry to ruin the quality of the stream a little bit here. Penalty warning, penalty warning. He hasn't had any more warnings since the penalty.
Oh my
goodness!
Hell?
What the?
What on earth have I just seen? I don't even know how to begin to describe what I've just seen. Why is Lightning Luke bouncing along the track like he's in Rocket League?
And Lightning Luke turned into Lightning McQueen for a second there. He's just gone absolutely... And has his out. That should be a safety car. It's a safety car. What?
Do you think Hazard Times had the same thing happen to him? I think so.
Well, we'll go on... Oh, no, he's too far away. I'll say Alco's going to go on board with Zalba to see where he's gone.
Safety car will spice this up. It'll ruin anyone who has a penalty's chances here unless they get it removed.
I apologise for the stream. God. I was checking the penalties, and as soon as I got off the penalty screen and went into the main pause screen, we just saw a vertical F1 car, and then I clicked off of it just as he was rolling. Like, what?
I believe that anyone watching at the minute should follow Virtua Racing Project because that'll be on the Instagram within moments. That was.
And Zauber at the moment is in P9. And Charlie will be absolutely saying some very non-PG words probably at the moment because he was on his way to getting possibly a podium because he would have probably got that penalty removed if he was able to get that penalty removed. Could have got himself into a P3, but now he's in a really tough spot because if that penalty doesn't get removed and that 3-second time penalty stays, that's going to drop him so far back because the grid will have all stacked up. Harold's pitting. Harold is in the pits. Will he get out in time? And there's a race between. And Omar, everyone is, including Charlie.
Come in as well. I'm shocked Lightning Luke didn't get damage from that. Oh, he nearly sped. He had to slam on the brakes. Charlie Strat in the end will actually work for him. He just needs to focus on that penalty not affecting him. Into the pits as well. Timbed. Tizian stays out. Tizian takes the risk. Timbed sped into the pit lane. Yeah, he could pit next lap and try and get that one taken off. Tizian, though, is going to jump Lightning Luke.
That's the one thing
so maybe not the biggest
could not be able to do. Tizian, track position is quite important at a track like this, but got to feel the pace of a soft, sort of fresh softs over medium used hards is going to be not too. Well, it's not going to be a fair fight, really, is it? Zauber, Wonderfield pit as well. He's on fresh mediums. However, he may try and serve a penalty because I think he's got one that he can serve. He stays out.
I'd have to say I expect Timbed in this lap again to try and serve that penalty, and although the safety car might come in.
Yeah, I think it's 3 laps of 2 laps of green flag racing they usually like to have.
You have to have at least one. It likes to come in with about 2. Tizian should come in this lap. He stayed out and he's got 1 car advantage from it. News from Hazard Time, he did not retire from the same thing Lightning Luke had, he just lost the rear and hit the pit entry wall.
Ooh, yeah, I saw Zauber did that early on in the race. It was quite a scary moment, I'm sure, for Zauber. He recovered from it. He's in P9 at the moment, but I would love to see a POV of what happened to Luke. I've never seen anything like that in the F1 game, and quite rightly, as Dan has said, follow VIP on Instagram because no doubt we'll be posting an onboard of that because that was just ridiculous. I mean, I don't know how a car caught flight like that. I don't think physicists know how a car can even catch flight like that without some sort of ramp or some sort of hydraulic ramp in the car or something. But honestly, yeah,
there must be a hidden speed bump and a half. So, I think this is a James Bond moment. There was a retractable speed bump set by Omar to sabotage his teammate and guarantee a podium.
Must have been a GTA 5 ramp car or something which just spawned in that we didn't see because it was just that didn't look real at all, did it? I mean, that was I don't know.
There was a large bit of comet relief in a race that was beginning to come to an end. The racing had just got interesting, to be fair. They had a little 4-car battle going, but safety car.
The only drivers that are not on softs at the moment, Tizian, your man, who you thought was going to pit, for some reason hasn't. And Zauber stays out as well. So Timbed has. Wait, did I say Tizian or Timbed? Yeah, don't matter. Anyway, yeah, so I wonder if, one thing that'd be interesting is all the dive bombs, all the risky moves we saw earlier, one of those same people will do the exact same thing, but of course in worse conditions and on a lot better tyres, so they might be able to actually pull off some sends a little bit better because of the tyres, but then the conditions might make the grip a little bit more difficult. And Hazard commenting saying, I doubt this will end well for Tizian. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he ends up after the first lap. The pace of the softs over the hards is probably monumental. But there's only one way to find out, and that's with these lot fighting all the way to the end. I'll say that V car was probably one of the best looking cars I've seen of recent history. That is. Oh.
It is very.
Ironically, probably since the Toro Rosso.
I'd say it's a less. I think Toro Rosso was better, but it's
Yeah.
definitely in an era where everything's black and rather the same. It's a shining light, and definitely does shine just like that Sauber does in front of it. As everyone has caught the safety car, so we're going to get maximum action as damage. Tim Bed's lost half his front wing.
And maybe a penalty for collision under safety car. Nope, nothing yet at the moment.
The game seems to cool down on that these days.
We're going to go on board with Juan. It's Juan has gone on the exit of the chicane. I think he actually went before. It sounded like he pinned the throttle before he got to the chicane. Just so that he could get a better run through the corner. And it seems to have worked. There's about 6 tenths he's pulled on Omar at the moment. The gap a lot more spread out than they were at the start of this race. And the only close battle at the moment, really, ironically, well, as we kind of predicted, was Tizian and Luke. Luke's going to struggle to get past, though. And this is a dream situation for Luke, but at the moment, he's going to have to stick behind him for about a sector here, which is going to pull Percival back in. But Charlie's aggressive.
Yeah, Charlie's beginning to sniff a second place here, all over the back of Omar, who didn't get the best restart. He's already second back from Herod. When can he make the move? Zauber getting back past Timbed. Zauber didn't have the best restart in the world. He's now 2 seconds back from the rest of the field. Oh, there's battling throughout at the minute. Cars very close to the back of each other.
I think Timbed had a moment. Is that a move there for Luke?
Oh, Charlie's had a slide. Charlie's had a slide. He's ghosted, and Yannick's going to be able to take advantage of that. Charlie, who went on the attack, is now paying the price of it a little bit as Yannick defends his position. Charlie towards the grass. Yannick up onto the podium for a second race running at the moment.
Oh, and Percival's round. It was Tizian is probably going to get lumped with a bunch of penalties, or at least a bunch of reports after that racing there. You could barely call it racing. Forcing cars off track. He made the wrong decision, and he's making other people pay for it. Not very sportsmanlike of the other Sauber driver, but we're watching this battle here for P2. Yannick, Omar and Charlie, not in that order, but they're all battling, and the DRS is now enabled. Herod's surely going to pull away at this point, and this battle for second is only going to get fiercer and fiercer, but it is the final lap though, so if they're going to make any moves, now's the time to do it.
So there will be no DRS, maybe for a couple of metres until the line, so DRS isn't going to play a factor in this one. Omar just has to hold on now. You're past the point of any real chance to overtake, because Lord Percival goes for another spin. He's just got to keep it in the race now. So Omar, I'm not going to curse him, I'm just going to say, can he? Rhetorical question, can he get his first podium here? He's in P2. Yannick, this is a place where he could make a dive, and will we see him go for one? We saw him make a dive on hazard time here. No, he just keeps his nose clean and stays behind the V-Carb driver. Speaking of V-Carb driver, Lightning Luke in 5th place now in a bit of free air. Got past Tizian, and Tizian's gonna finish on track with a 6th place as things stand. We're coming towards the line to finish this one.
Surely Yannick going to be preparing for a move here. Inside, outside. Where does he go? He goes to the inside. Looks to try and get the move done through 130R. Omar sticks to it. Omar sticks his line though. And he's almost making contact. But Omar's making it work though. He sticks to the inside. Yannick on the outside for the chicane. He's still there. Omar, can he pull it off and get P2? It's stunning driving from the V-Carb driver. Herod takes the win, but an amazing finish for Omar as he picks up his first podium in VRP in dramatic fashion. Brilliant racing from the V-Carb driver.
Brilliant at the end. That had shades of Vettel Alonso, the way they came to the line together. That was good to watch. Herod, as you say, very dominant win despite only being 2 seconds in the end. He's the man who stands on top, rather deservedly so. Yannick in third, Omar with his first podium.
Charlie must have got the popcorn out there. He had an amazing battle to watch. He does win driver of the day for the game. We'll probably talk about who our driver of the day is, but wow, what a move there. An 8 hundredths of a second between P2 and P3 there. A brilliant finish for the podium. But Juan, though, gifted an insane scenario, and he took it with all the class that he has and took it to the end in a really controlled win from the Spaniard. He's not exactly alien to winning, and another one for him in VRP, another one for him in F1 League Racing, just adding to his accolades.
Can that begin to maybe get him back in the talk for a title again? Try and keep it. And I have to say, props to Yannick. He managed to find a time to make a move at the end there, and he kept it clean. He didn't win the battle, but he definitely kept his nose clean and made it a fair and fun fight to watch. Lightning Luke ending in P4, so Charlie's penalty didn't cost him overly in the end. P5, he only loses the one position from it if it remains.
Charlie did not pick up another warning after we checked it, so he has a possibility of getting that removed.
So check on Instagram, Virtual Racing Project, for that decision. Should be out tomorrow with the top 10 results. Another decision to make is whether or not, as you say, Tizian's contact with Lord Percival will get him in any trouble as well. Zabadrachi in, well, you should say his name. You're learning German.
Zabadrachi.
There you go. Managing to score a best ever finish in P7, 6 points going his way, and we'll see if he gains another if Tizian picks up a penalty. And then we saw in P8 was Timbed and P9 Lord Percival getting into a bit of trouble at the end. Driver of the day shouts?
I mean, I was going to choose someone other than Charlie, because I usually like to choose someone that isn't chosen by the game, but the fact he started from last place and he managed to race his way up with a risky strategy. We said it a couple of times, how some of the choices he made were a little bit risky, but he actually pulled it off. He's pulled it off quite well, and even Luke as well, going on a different strategy to everybody else and making it work as well towards the end. I mean, you can see why he's fighting for a championship, can't you, with drivers like that? But I can't really think of anyone else but Charlie, really. I think the position is definitely, I think personally for me, another shout out other than who I said was Luke. Omar, of course, getting his first podium and a really good drive, and that driving towards the end of there, it's so easy to make a mistake, so easy to try and get on the throttle a bit earlier to try and get ahead of the other guy you're going side by side with, and you can spin it, you can have a moment. You know, it's easy to make mistakes in those situations, but he's managed to keep himself calm and collected and collect that podium. So yeah, driver of the day Charlie, honourable mention Omar.
Yeah, I can only agree, really. I was also going to give Charlie his props for what I think was probably a driver of the day performance. But yeah, Omar, Yannick as well definitely deserves some flowers for that one. Lightning Luke, as you also mentioned, and of course you have to say Herod. Of course, Evesta made the mistake, but Herod was still right on him, and well, he made the most of a good situation for his point of view. Good battles throughout though, and managing to keep it clean for the most part this week.
Right then, so next week we are in, hang on, I had this up earlier, so I should probably know. Bear with us for a second. Next week we are in Saudi Arabia for the Jeddah Grand Prix, a track which is new to VRP, surprisingly, for a track that is as fast and usually quite action-packed as well. So, yep, Saudi Arabia being the next race on the calendar should be an entertaining one. And then the rest of the season is all in America. After that, we go to Mexico, another new entrance for the VRP calendar, followed by followed by Las Vegas, and then we finish up in where F1 used to have a lot of its title showdowns, that being Brazil, Sao Paulo. So a pretty stacked rest of the calendar, to be fair. We've just gone past the halfway point, Japan being round 6, so we're coming down to that final stage, that final time where drivers really need to put in some key performances to get some better championship finishes. Saudi Arabia, though, should have plenty of action. We might even see a bit of a bigger grid, so way more chaos, probably more safety cars, and maybe another Zalba points finish, who knows.
That'd be lovely.
So, let's finish up then, shall we? So thank you very much, everybody, for listening or watching, however you've been enjoying this stream. And yeah, hopefully we'll be here next week. I might be commentating again. I might be driving for Mexico. Who knows, if I talk very nicely to certain people. Hello, Damas. Very good at making your graphics. And yeah, it might be this lineup next week. It might not be. It might be somebody else, like Adam or the other Adam Ghost. Who knows? But what we do know is that next week will be another action-packed evening of racing in VRP for Season 5, Round 7 of Saudi Arabia. We've said it about 3 times already, but go follow us on Instagram so you can see all the latest updates on the championship order, and constructors and drivers, and any key moments and any funny moments like us taking off. So, it's a goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from me.
And we'll see you next week in Saudi Arabia. Take care, and we'll see you then.